Today's episode of Running It Back is up, ready for your listening pleasure, and oh boy, are you going to want to listen. The show is back. I was on a little bit of a Christmas break there for a couple weeks, but not to worry. This episode is going to get you back. I was on the road. I was noticing this. I was in airports, and every once in a while when you're in an airport, you see someone dressed up as a full-on cowboy. I don't know if I'm the only one who noticed this. And then you go, are you a cowboy? Is this how you fly? People fly in very different ways. So if you're in an airport, next time, see if you don't see a cowboy. Boots, vest, woven belt. I saw more than one in my airport's experience last week. Anyway, this episode, here's why I'm excited about this episode. Who joins me this week? My friend Chris Cordova joins me. Who is Chris? Well, I grew up with Chris. However, Chris is older than me, so he was almost sort of like an older brother in a sense. I never had an older brother. Chris was older than me, and he was sort of that figure, but maybe an older brother that doesn't come home that much. We went to the same middle school. We went to the same high school, though never at the same times. So we got into his life, his upbringing, how he was as a kid. Most importantly, we spent a lot of time talking about our high school. We both went to an all-boys Catholic high school. He before me, and we talked about what that did. It was really funny. It was really interesting to hear his perspective, how he got out. He got out! Chris also runs a few really funny Instagram accounts that we talk about as well. And he makes notebooks. What does that mean? Well, you're going to have to listen. Be honest, I didn't fully know what it meant till I talked to him. So here it is. Chris Cordova joins me this week on Running It Back. And don't forget, if you're new to my YouTube channel, or maybe you're old to my new YouTube channel, don't forget, the Sunday Night Talk is my other show. Me and Omar Carmona break down the NFL every week. We go off the rails. Sometimes we don't come back. Go check it out. We're starting the playoffs this week. And not to mention, our football movie playoff bracket is in the works. So if you haven't voted for your favorites, you can still do it. Go check it out. There's a picture of the bracket on my Instagram. My God, there's a lot of football movies. But right now, Chris Cordova joins me on Running It Back. 3, 2, 1, here we go. So you're free today?
Yeah, I said like government coup, check. Go to the grocery store, check.
Government
Podcast
coup,
with Ramirez.
lock the doors. I have a frozen pizza.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I
Well,
mean,
let me give you an intro. Are you ready for this intro, Chris?
Yeah.
Chris Cordova on the screen with me today. Thanks for joining me. Chris, where are you?
I'm in Austin, Texas.
Texas boy.
That's right.
We are Texas.
Just like
guys.
you.
I grew up in Texas. We grew up like less than a mile away from each other too.
Like a block and a half. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking about it. You and I have known each other for probably a majority of my whole life. However, I think we're 5 years apart in age. So
Yeah.
we never were in the same school together. We never were in the same
You
high
may
school.
have been at St. Joe's when I was at St. Joe's.
Really? I don't
Yeah.
think we were ever in the same school. So we never got to like interact that much.
You were at St. Joe's. I think I left in 8th grade. You came up in 4th grade, but I remember you started playing football, and Coach Baca told me, "Hey, your neighbor kid Patrick's playing football for us now," and it was like right when I left. So it was like
you were like, who?
Who? Patrick Ramirez plays football.
Well,
he comes to school now.
That guy's still in school? Well, I was thinking because I never had like an older brother. I'm the oldest in my family.
Yeah.
And every once in a while you would come around and you're like 5 years older than me. And you were the closest thing to like an older male person who's around. But what I remember pretty specific is one time you came to my house on a skateboard and a long sleeve Vision shirt. I was like, I got a lot to learn before I know what's going on with older kids. What kind of like kid were you?
I guess I was a middle kid. And so
Right, you're the
I
middle kid of three kids, right?
middle kid, three kids, my older brother Gil, who is 4 years older than my little sister Annalisa. She's 9 years younger. So I was definitely like the middle kid. I was I was a good kid in general. I never got in serious trouble, but I did like to dabble in mischief. I will just kind of like leave it at that. I did
What do
kind
you
of hang
mean?
out with some of the troublemaker kids at St. Joe's, and we
St.
part of
Joe's is a
our
middle school, we should say.
yeah our middle school, and yeah, it was. I definitely hung out with the skate crowd in middle school, which led to light juvenile delinquency. I'm just going to say
Yeah, skate.
light juvenile.
What's the skate crowd like though? I don't know anything of this. Is like early 90s and
This
skate.
was late 80s, early 90s, and
Uh-huh.
around St. Joe's, like the kids we would skate with, like there were a few of us that were actually at St. Joe's, but then we'd hang out with a lot of the neighborhood kids, and there was kind of like a cholo rocker crowd. So it was like rockers who skated. We would skate with those guys, and it was always, I don't know, it was always a fun time, but there was always an element that you were going to get in trouble somehow. Like you're just going to get
Was
in trouble.
was skating like almost kind of like punk rock? Do you think it was
You
kind of like
know,
something to do if you weren't into sports?
no, because we played sports too. It was just kind of, yeah, I guess it was kind of like alternative, but like a lot of the kids at our middle school were into it. So it just kind of became popular. Sixth grade, everybody got a skateboard. Everyone got like a Pal Peralta deck. And yeah, it was a fun time.
Where would you
Your
go to
richer
skate?
friends had like the ramps at their house, and
Oh, I see.
a lot of the West Side kids did, and you know, so it was always fun. I ended up breaking an arm in eighth grade. I don't know if you recall that, but I had a broken arm. My dad, Big Gil, was not so happy about that, and I had to like let go of the skateboard. I also could not play basketball my eighth grade year because of that broken arm, and I had to tell Coach Baca about it. And I was like the tallest kid on the team. I wasn't the best kid on the team. I was just the
Really? You were
tallest
a
kid.
tall kid, huh?
I was a tall kid. I did my growth spurt early. I don't
Huh.
know how that happened, but I know what's in that milk in El Paso. But I'm just saying, I was real hairy, and I had the growth spurt like at 10. Who knew?
I do remember you having one of the first mustaches I think I ever saw on a kid.
I was like 11 years old. Started shaving at 11 years old.
Really?
Little cholo, little cholo lip mustache. Yeah,
Well, that's why you had like kind of older brother sort of status in my head because you were into skateboarding, you were wearing long sleeve t-shirts in the summer, and you had a mustache. That's why I sort of like identified as like, well, Chris is older than me. He's
no,
into
you
cool stuff that I know nothing about. He's like older. He's in that next older crowd that does cool stuff.
look at me now. Look at me now, dude. Still doing older cool kid stuff.
Still, you're like the world's worst case of Benjamin Button.
What?
Well, we had the full on Catholic school experience. We went to Catholic middle school, then we went to Catholic all boys high school. And I tell people that, and they always say, like, you went to an all boys Catholic high school? What was that like? Like, it's really dramatic. And at the time, it is like, well, you just went there. But now I think about it, I tell them, like, it was a locker room with desks. That's what it was. There was
Yeah.
nonstop wrestling, there was farting, there was a lot of yelling in the halls. So yeah, it turns in, you put a bunch of dudes together, it turns into Lord of the Flies by about October.
Yeah,
What,
but
what was your experience there?
Lord of the Flies with helicopter moms, like, you know, like, oh, so and so's mom, she's gonna be pissed, or like, I don't know. It was just always kind of, I wouldn't say, I I, I often describe like being a freshman at Cathedral is just probably the most awkward experience you could ever like really imagine, because you're like 14 years old, you're just around a bunch of guys, and like let alone if you were to throw these guys in front of girls or the opposite sex, like it would just like freak their shit out.
Yeah.
But yeah, just a lot of awkward kids, man. It was like a lot of awkward kids. I don't know, and like I came from a Cathedral family. Like my dad went, all my uncles went, my big brother Gil went. So it's like I was born and we had no choice. Like we were born, you're going to Cathedral. Um, so then like you just kind of find your crowd there, and you just kind of like hang out. And I found my crowd, my other cool crowd around sophomore year. And it was a lot of us who were part of that whole like you didn't have a choice, all your brothers came here and now you're here. And like you go into a class and like guys like Mr. C's just always, Cordova, I know your brother, he was very smart, what's the matter with you? He would just always be like throwing the digs in front of the class, in front of everybody.
It was a weird sort of legacy school. Like if you had older siblings or family members that went there, it was like a foregone conclusion that you were going to go to that school too. I didn't have any older siblings. I think I had an uncle or two that went there, but there was definitely no choice. It's like you were going to this Catholic high school. You were going to go. There's no choice. You're getting collared shirts and you're going and you're going to wear a belt. And that was the end of the discussion.
You're going to keep your hair.
There was no choice. You did, but did you want to go to that school?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was getting by my 8th grade year, I was getting in so much trouble at St. Joe's that it was either Cathedral or I was going to go to military school.
What kind of trouble were you getting into in the 8th grade?
It wasn't necessarily me. It was kind of doing skateboarding. We may have got caught like skating in the halls or something. And I had this one buddy, he got into a bad fight. Like he beat the crap out of this kid. And it was bad. Plus like my dad was on the school board too. So it's like, if you're going to be a bad kid, your dad's on the like president of the school board at St. Joe's. It was always a bad look. And for my dad, but he was like, I think it was one of the sisters that was there. And he was like, I hired her and now you're getting in trouble. Dad was just
really?
like,
wow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So one of my dad's coworkers, like his boss, he was all a big alumnus over at New Mexico Military Institute, NIMI. And he's like, you got two choices. You're going to NIMI or you're going to Cathedral. So Cathedral was like the easiest option of the two.
I see. Cathedral had this weird sort of dual edge to it where all the kind of preppy kids went there because it was a private school, but also a lot of kids were sent there as a punishment too. So we had a lot of like troublemakers that went to other high schools. All of a sudden they were forced into this Catholic high school. So it would be a really weird mix of kids. Also, like I noticed at Cathedral, there was a lot of kids would try and outpour each other because you went to this prep school. So there was a lot of like, hey, rich kid. But everybody would yell. It's like, obviously everybody has kind of enough money to send a kid here. So everybody would try and outpour each other and trying to say how rough they had. I was like, we're in a Catholic high school. How bad could all of us have it really? But it was a weird vibe.
I think that kind of changed. It seemed like it changed by the time your brother Andrew went there. Because by the time like Annalisa had gone through and Andrew had gone through, it like when I look at the kids going there now, they all seem like super rich kids. Like whether that's the case or not, it's just kind of like what it seems. It seems like the kids that go there do a lot better than the kids when we were there. But that's me.
I see. When you finished school, how do you feel that school affected you? Like you talked about being awkward. Like if you had ever put any females in a room, I was the same way with me and my jack off buddies. We would turn to stone. We all like would talk a big game, but I remember there was a cheerleader. She was a senior cheerleader at the girls' school. and she was dating a guy in college. So it was like, whoa, this chick is hot. She's dating older men. And she drove by Cathedral, our high school, and we all looked at her with the older dude. And I specifically remember my friend saying, wow, I can't wait till I get into college so I can date high school girls. And we all nodded our head like, yep, that'll be sweet. It was just such a stunting of growth, at least for me anyway. How was it for you years after?
Well, I would say that like the awkwardness is definitely there your freshman year. Kind of like the beginning of like as freshman year went on, I really like established the girls at Loretto I would hang out with all the time. So then like freshman year going into sophomore, we were kind of like always with these girls at Loretto that we'd hang out with that we met like freshman year, right? So I'd say it went pretty well. It was cool. Like I think after you're there and you made your friends and you kind of have your own scene, it was a cool experience for me. I ended up going to St. Edward's after or for college here in Austin, and a lot of our like about maybe 6 or 7 of us from Cathedral went, and so we kind of like all still kind of hung out together, and so I would really say like it's given me some buddies that I've hung out with since high school, and some really good friends, and even the girls we hung out with at Loretto, we're still like real tight with them too. So
Yeah. Well, you definitely struck me as much more of a social person than say
yeah,
like me. So I think if you go to an all boys school and you're somewhat shy or isolated, it's an easy way to go into more shyness and more isolation. Because for me, I was like, oh, no girls, great. Don't have to worry about being embarrassed. Have to worry about awkward conversations, which is fine and all. But at some point, you are going to have to interact with females in life. And it sort of stunted me by 4 years. So when I went to college, I was behind. I was so behind socially. But I think other people, kids who had sisters, kids who were just more social with women, got along just fine there. But for me, I was like, oh man, what do you do with them? Like, what do you talk to them about? What? I was dumbfounded when I had to interact with women after high school.
well, I'm glad you grew out of it. I'm glad you grew out of it. I'm glad
Who
you
says
kind
I
of
grew out of it?
well, hey, I was giving you the benefit of the doubt, Patrick. I didn't get to chat with you this Christmas, so it was like
I know. We didn't get to have our Christmas talk.
we didn't get to have Christmas time, dude.
No, we didn't. So you went to college in Austin. How come you went to that college?
St. Edward's. Primarily because it was here in Austin. I in high school I did like a lot of technical theater stuff, like with the Cathedral plays. So
You did?
I did.
I didn't remember that. What did you do in
Yeah,
the school play?
yeah. So they had a big theater program at St. Edward's that I initially like went to like be part of. But then you go to college and you get to know the theater majors, and it was kind of like is this something? Yeah, it was kind of it was a different crowd, some really great performers, but they weren't really into kind of the theater. I was the technical theater stuff. They were like all pure actors, so they wanted to be like.
What did you want to do in the theater?
We were doing like building the sets out, doing lighting and stuff, and so but like at that time I kind of switched. I was kind of undecided my freshman year and kind of decided on teaching later on. And but yeah, that being in Austin, just I wanted to go because ultimately I wanted to go to UT, but I didn't get in, but like then kind of like my junior year, I kind of I knew like St. Ed's was going to be an option, and we had like a lot of family friends that had gone there, um, you know, which really kind of, my parents were kind of more on board with it since they knew like a lot of their friends had gone. So it was kind of cool. Then like a lot of our Cathedral friends that were going to go there too. I was probably one of the first ones that said I was going to go there, and a Like we had a couple guys that played soccer there, played tennis, and like so by the time we graduated, there were like about 7 of us that went.
Oh, really? That's cool. You had a few friends to go to
Yeah,
college with. And then from our kind of medium-sized town, El Paso, to Austin, bigger sized town.
yeah.
Difference. What'd you notice there?
Um, our first weekend there was like all those cathedral dudes were hanging out. We ended up going to this one party, and we showed up, and it was like, oh hey, who brought the Mexicans? And
No. We're boarders. We're skaters, guys.
hey, I think they're talking about us. I think that was kind of like the biggest
Skateboard,
thing.
is that
like,
Spanish for something?
hey, yeah, you speak Spanish? What do you just call us?
So you were the Mexican guys?
We were the Mexican guys, and like growing up in El Paso, everyone's the Mexican guy, and
Yeah,
so
true.
that was kind of like one of those big cultural changes. Like we're not in El Paso anymore. Like that was kind of one thing. St. Ed's was a small school, so it was kind of like being at a high school, like a boarding high school kind of. It was that
Oh,
small. Like
really?
maybe 2,000, 3,000 people were there that were like undergrad. It wasn't that many people, especially when you're in the same city as UT. It has about 50,000 people. So yeah, it was like at that point, and when it was my first job out, I was teaching kindergarten on the east side, which kind of a rough neighborhood, but it was
So
at
you got
that
a
point.
degree in teaching?
I got a degree in history, then I was doing a teaching program.
I see.
Um,
Oh, and you got placed at a school. So your first
well, I
job
got
out of
hired
college,
there, so that was cool. But
that's your first job out of college, teaching kindergarten?
yeah, I'd worked for
Really?
my uncle's law firm for a little bit, but yeah, teaching kindergarten was my first job out of college.
Really? I know so many, like my own brothers too, are teachers, and so many of my friends end up teaching. It's so weird. And your job out of college was teaching kindergarten.
Yeah, it
How
was
were you like prepared for that? That sounds like a hard job.
it was a hard job. I wasn't prepared for it. I realized that like going through that experience when I realized like this sheltered upbringing I had, probably you had, just like coddled in these Catholic schools and these private schools, then having it go further to, being at a Catholic university, you're you weren't on the mean streets, let's just put it that way. And you
You're on the
know,
mean cul-de-sacs in our world.
yeah. And so yeah, it was just kind of really realizing, dealing with some of the kids, some of the social issues they were dealing with, family issues they were dealing with. That's kind of like when I had that like realization of kind of what a sheltered childhood I had had. And
What kind of stuff were like the kindergartners? How were they different? Do you
were
think?
they different?
What were their issues that they were sort of experiencing?
Some kids had like parents that had already passed away. Just some that were incarcerated, some that just kind of like parents had severe drug issues. These were just kind of things that I realized I hadn't grown up around, and it
Sounds
was
like a whole lot of movie days if I was teaching
it,
that
no.
stuff. Kids want to watch Stand and Deliver.
Yeah. They're like 6 years old, so they really don't have that attention span. And then they're like, if you did something like that, they'll just start like hitting each other, and then you got to break up the fight. It's kind of
Really?
like being a hockey ref, It's just like a lot of breaking up fights, breaking up
Wow.
fights.
Do you ever follow up on them? Do you know where any of them are these days?
Occasionally I run into some of their parents at like a grocery store, or but not really. Or yeah, their parents usually like will recognize me, and hey, there's that scared 23-year-old that was teaching our kids for a year. Hey, you, Mr. Cordova? Oh, hey, what's up? But no, they kind of told me like some of those kids already had kids.
Ah.
Yeah,
Wow.
they're old. They're like, I guess they're like about 26 right now.
Yeah, that's
And
true. Yeah, they would be
yeah,
about that age.
it was the 1999 2000 school year. So
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, they'd be
yeah,
old enough to have families. That's strange.
yeah, yeah. It's strange. Um,
That's
yeah,
really weird.
kind of weird.
So you're teaching kindergarten. How long did you teach kindergarten for?
1 year.
1 year.
Yeah.
did you did you have any good school projects that you had for these kids that went well, or just like say crash and burned? Did you have them make the Thanksgiving turkey or something, and 2 seconds later they lit the room on fire?
We did chalupas. You know what a chalupa is? Is that popular in
Yeah.
California? It's like a bean tapatio. We call them bean tapatias in El Paso, but in Austin or Central Texas, they refer to it as chalupas. I guess Taco Bell does too. But yeah, it was just like we made them, and we just kind of had the kids make them, and that was probably the most memorable thing I did that year because I'd never seen kids
That's
just
a good
happy.
project.
Yeah, they were like they had to follow directions. They had to know when to put the beans on, the lettuce, all that. We all did it as like a little project,
Mm-hmm.
and then they got to eat it afterwards. And kids love to eat. All right, I don't
Mm.
know if you know this, but if you got to babysit a kid for a little while, load up on the snacks.
Yeah.
Just keep on
Good
feeding
good
them the
use of
snacks.
food for your project. You're like, next semester, everybody, funnel cakes. Everybody put on your chef's hat. We're gonna make funnel cakes, cotton candy. We're gonna drink about 8 ounces of Kool-Aid a piece, and then it's gonna be nap time till the spring.
Yes. Yeah, yeah. It was. There were a lot of happy guilt. Adam, what Billy Madison moments that year. I felt like I was Billy Madison trying to watch the kids,
What
trying to get
about
through a
the
day.
what about the other teachers? Did you like make friends with them, or did they give you any like advice?
Oh yeah, yeah. I looked scared the entire year. They were always trying to give me advice, and actually, yeah, I had some really good teachers around me that year, but they were always helping me out. Yeah, like I couldn't have gotten by that year without all the other teachers. You kidding
Yeah.
me?
It's really interesting. That first job out of college is trial by fire, no matter what your job is.
Oh,
Whether you go into your field or you don't go into your field, or you work retail like I did. At some point, you're like, what's the plan here? How long am I going to do this for? Is this a good path? And then you make kind of like, you see someone older than you make friends with them. At some point, like I had the same sort of job after college. And then I became like, I was managing a bicycle store. I became a manager. And at some point, like you're kind of the manager of younger kids. And they're like, man, that Pat, the manager, he's a real dick. And you're like, I'll become the man. I'll become the boss that everybody hates. I'm the manager that everybody hates. So it's really strange. Once you get out of college, you kind of like coast into like real life. And at some point, like you don't really know when you're fully into it or not. I thought it was.
the disappointment on your parents' face. That's how you know how far into it you are.
That's true. That's true. When you keep calling your dad, like, want to go to lunch? At some point, when you've had lunch with your dad 8 times in this course of 8 months, you're like, I think they're concerned. I think they might have thoughts about this
Yeah,
retail job I have.
yeah. Well, I know he went to college because I know I
Yeah.
paid for it.
Yeah. When they drop the hint, you'll always have your degree 27 times. You're like, I think they're trying to tell me something. Hey, you got your degree. Hey, I saw you taking out that huge trash can to the dumpster. Still got your degree. You're like, this old man, you're telling me something.
Especially all that right before the salad even hits the plate.
That's
The
true. We were
table.
still on the iced tea. Right.
You've been
Yeah.
thinking about graduate school, Patrick.
Right. Yeah. Why do you keep shoving grad school brochures in my back pocket here? There's a lot of brochures here of schools within an 18-mile radius of me here. I'm picking up your hand, old man.
Yeah, or you can become a real estate agent.
Oh, really? Did you ever get that? I got dentist. For some reason, my grandma wanted everybody to be a dentist. And she would always say, like, do you like working with your hands? Yeah, sure do, grandma. What about a dentist? I was like, I don't know how you went from working with your hands to dentistry, but that was her play. I think she did on multiple uncles of mine too. But you got real estate agent?
Yeah, it was when the real estate boom was on the rise. It was like
Mm,
it was before 2008.
yeah.
Everyone was making a mill doing real estate.
Well, it's
My
funny you
parents even
mentioned.
gave me a blazer that year.
Oh man, you were halfway there. A
I was halfway
blazer.
there. I was surprised they didn't
I
have like a photographer ready to do my pictures, the ones that would just kind of like sit in front of the house. So
could have been on a park bench in no time.
I know. It's just like
Real estate. Real
real
estate to
estate.
the locals. There's always a, realtor to the stars. There's got to be a realtor to the locals. Why not have that park bench too?
That's me, man of the people. I
Hey, you
got
make
you.
under 50K a year? Let's talk about stuff. Let's talk about a duplex that you can rent out.
Credit not so good. I got you, my dude. I
Right.
got you. Let's
That's
just
right.
go.
Ever heard of something called sweat equity? You're going to be putting a lot of that into this first purchase. I'll talk you through it. Realtor to the locals.
Yeah,
It could
yeah.
have been us, man. Could have been us. We could have been
It
pimping
could have
out
been.
two
It still
bedrooms.
can be, Patrick. Hey,
Yeah, that's
I'm just
true.
saying. I'm still optimistic about my future.
I
I
got an
still think I'd
iPhone.
make a great real estate agent.
That's right. We're going to take this world one bedroom at a time.
Hey, see, that's how it goes.
Well, like speaking of dads, I was thinking about this. You always have your parents always have a Christmas party
Hmm.
on Christmas Eve, and we didn't have it this year, of course. But I think I've been to that Christmas party for 30 years.
Easy,
And I was thinking
if
after
not
my
more.
parent, if not more, I'm 40. So, and I started going to that party as a kid. So it might be 30 plus years. And I was thinking, other than my own parents, whose parents do I probably know next best? And it's probably your parents from growing
Okay,
up in the
fair.
same neighborhood, going to their
Yeah.
Christmas party every year. What's the earliest you remember that party happening?
Early 80s. I think
Really?
once we got into that house, like early 80s, we know it was definitely happening in 85 because we kind of had the procession, like the Jesus procession. They dressed all the kids up. And
Oh, I forgot about that. They would have like a little nativity school play thing.
yeah. And I remember when Annalisa was born, she was the baby Jesus in it.
Oh,
It was like
really?
a whole to do. Yeah.
How
Yeah.
progressive. Baby Jesus.
Right? Annalisa breaking those barriers. Please. Way to go. Way to
That's
go.
right.
So definitely the early 80s. That party was going on. And me and my cousin Dominic, we couldn't cast the third wise man. So it was the two wise guys, me and Dominic, and we made these real cool beards out of cotton balls or something. I don't know. We look good though. We look good.
So there was a Christmas nativity scene procession in the early mid 80s before me
Correct.
at your parents' Christmas Eve party.
Yeah. Then that got transferred into the kids, got to just be in the basement.
Mm-hmm.
And that went from like we would have our Nerf basketball competition to video games to karaoke. So we always kind of like had to jazz it up in like the 90s and 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we had
Yeah.
one of those Just Dance ones for a while. But
What was the what was the best and worst one you think you ever experienced?
the best and worst, like
Christmas party, your parents' Christmas party.
Christmas party, to be honest, they all kind of blur. They all kind of blur into it. They all kind of go in phases. It's like the entry of the families. It's hanging of the. My dad's like always get everyone's jacket, get everyone. So like I'm always
Yeah, I
like,
was gonna say it always starts by your dad taking everyone's jacket
yeah. Then he
and
then he
hanging them in the
goes
closet.
and shows everybody the back washroom that he converts into his bar area.
Yeah, your dad converts the washroom into a bar. Uh, the light never works, so you're pouring drinks and drinking drinks in the dark.
Hey,
And
if
then
it's a heavy pour, it's a heavy pour. Hey.
right, right. Your dad, yeah, takes us to the back, pours you a drink in the dark. And then after that, you sort of roam around the house looking for someone to talk to. And then I have had the same conversation with, I don't know who this person is. For 30 years, I still don't know what relative this person is of yours. I've had the same conversation with them for 30 years. Where do you live? What kind of car do you drive? Do you think you're going to move back to El Paso? And well, have a good new year too. That's the end of the conversation for 30 years I've had with one of your uncles, who I assume is one of your uncles.
You never tell these days. We get a lot of gay, party crashers. What can I say? We live close to a park. People just see a party going on. It's El Paso. They just like want to get in. Apparently, we don't have a good door guy.
What'd you do for the Christmas party this year? Was it totally off? Did you have a small one?
It was Annalisa and Brandon came over, and it was like Annalisa, Brandon, myself, and my parents. It was much more scaled back. The room was decorated. We pretty much had the same food, and we still had tamales. We still had the brisket, chile con queso, ham, and it was still the same food. My mom and dad were prepping like 50 people were still coming to the house, though. It was really weird. I was just
really?
like, throughout the day, I had to tell them, I was just like, it's only Brandon and Annalisa coming, right? And they were like, yeah, but we just want it nice. But it was just like still an all-day event to make Christmas Eve just right.
I also like how at some point during your parents' Christmas party, number one, your mom yells at you. And number two, your dad says, damn it, at some point during the Christmas party. Like sometimes you have to catch it. He only says it once, maybe twice the night, but that's the part I love. I love when your mom yells at you to either get out of the kitchen or get in the kitchen. And then at some point your dad says, damn it. That's how I know the party is at its height.
Usually when I do like the annual Gil Cordova roast, I kind of like that one. That's kind of been my new favorite.
Yeah. One time you did an impersonation of your dad in front of your dad, and he got fucking pissed. And that might be my best Christmas party that I enjoyed there. Because he was, the drink is half empty. He's watching you do an impression of him and everybody's laughing. And he's like, what the heck? I don't sound like that. And I think he said, damn it, right then. That was the best one because he got pissed at you halfway in the bag at his own Christmas party. He's like, I did not raise my son to make fun of me in my own house. What happened?
It would be so bad, but it's like your dad kind of eggs me on to do it now. It's just
my dad is a big instigator. I'm getting to that. Yes.
Yeah. Everyone thinks Dr. Meat is super nice guy. Nah, man, he knows what he's doing. But he's like, hey, Chris, did your dad do anything funny at Kiki's on the day before Thanksgiving? Like, your dad's pretty good at setting up the joke. And like, all I got to do is...
My dad's a big instigator like that. Also, when it comes to dads, I like how your dad always has to say like the grace or the prayer over the food. And I like how you have, and he obviously doesn't have anything prepared. He's just winging it.
Off the dome.
We have there's a few family members that are Jewish. And there was one year that your dad dropped in Jesus like 18 times in the prayer. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is getting rough. This is getting great. Because my dad does the same thing in his prayers. My dad takes it upon himself to always be the prayer guy. And he just, off the top of the head, nothing prepared. He's the world's worst improver because he has nothing to say. And he goes on for about 5 minutes. It's hilarious. I love it every time.
Yeah. Come on, Dr. Minas. Let's brush up on those improv classes in El Paso. Let's do this already. Your improv game's got to be tight. Got to be tight, Dr. Minas.
That's a good, no one's Christmas is complete unless their parent does a rambling grace prayer, Thanksgiving, something where everybody at some point, everybody starts looking at the TV in the other room that's just muted. That's a good prayer.
That's how it happens sometimes. You just never know what you're going to get. You might get some current events. You might get like some shout outs to some family members that might not be there. It couldn't make the trip that time. You never know what you're going to get, dude.
You know what we should do as a goal next year? We should try and prepare our own prayer, grace, something. And we do a coup. on the Christmas prayer. And when you take over in your house, somebody like me takes over in my house, and we see, because maybe we're just talking trash. Maybe it's not so easy to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's harder than it looks.
You talk to God for a whole family, dude. Yeah. Yeah.
That's right.
Smart ass.
That's
you think
right.
it's funny?
God damn it, Chris. You think it's easy to talk to the Lord and Savior, baby Jesus? I mean, of your particular denomination? Let's see you do it while people are waiting
on
for
his
food.
birthday. Come on, dude. Birthday evening. We're Mexican after all. We do Christmas on Christmas Eve. All right. You don't got to work. You can party up. That's how we do holidays.
Party. The Christmas party is a staple in the neighborhood.
It is.
I think we're the only family that is not related to that goes to that. Is the rest of that family all your relatives? Why do we come? Why do we come to this party? Is my question.
My Nino Danny, our godfather, comes, and there was like towards the late 90s, early 2000s era, one of my dad's high school buddies, Uncle Ogie, Armando Ogas. He's an LA guy.
I never knew his full name.
Armando Ogas. Yeah, he's got some great stories, dude.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I never knew his name was Armando.
Armando Ogas, yeah, and we call him Uncle Ogie to this day. It's Uncle Ogie, and he took us to some Dodgers games. I know, he took us to, and then he would talk shit about everybody at the Dodger game. It was hilarious. And he'd say, oh yeah, that guy was voted most likely to pass the 8th grade, huh, Gil? Hey, look at him. And he'd just like talk smack up to people, but it was funny because it was like LA was Ogie's city, man. Like,
I see.
But he would show up at our house like at 3 a.m. And it would just be like kind of drunk. Sometimes he'd be in a Santa suit. Sometimes he wouldn't. It would just be like pictures with Ogie. It was like the after party hours or something.
Oh, I've never experienced the after hours Ogie.
Yeah, it's a party, bro. It's a party.
Wow. So how late does that party go to? We always leave at like a normal hour, but it keeps on raging.
Keeps like, yeah, it can rage till like 3.
Really?
Then like my parents do dishes after that. They clean the house after the party.
Some good inside baseball here. So what happens when we
my
leave?
parents can be up to like 5 in the morning, and it's kind of like, you know how we used to do the Luminarios, Christmas Eve.
Eve, yeah.
So that would be a 24-hour day, starting with the Luminarios at like 7 in the morning, going to like 5 a.m., finishing the dishes, cleaning up for everybody.
Wow, I had no idea it goes all night like that.
Yeah. And this year I was like asleep by like 10. I was like, ugh.
Wow. Yeah, I had no idea.
When you don't eat tamales, ham, and brisket in one sitting all the time, and you have it like on Christmas Eve, dude, I'm going to be taking a nap in the next 30 minutes. Like that nap's happening. I'm out of practice. Come on. Those gussies get me, dude.
You guys do the dishes. I'll catch up with you. You guys take over. Let me know if you need someone to dry.
Guys, I'm wasted. I'm no good to you.
I'm wasted, man. Let me know if you need someone to dry. And then after that, put away. Let me know when you're ready to put away.
I'd love to help you guys with dishes, but I just drove from Austin today. Been on the road 12 hours. Got to go.
That's right. I've been on the road. That's a good ploy.
Yeah.
I've been on the road. I got a thing in my neck. Yeah.
You know how this game works.
I've been at this party for 30 plus years. I know how it works. I know your game, old man.
38-year-old? No, I'm 44 now, Mom.
I wasted my best years on this party. I was thinking.
It's a rager, bro. It's a rager.
Your new venture, though, that you unveiled last Christmas party, this is what I want to talk about. You're making these notebooks. With movie posters on them, album covers.
They're VHS boxes, my dude.
So you're taking VHS boxes and you're putting them on notebooks.
Correct.
Well, why are you doing this?
I saw them at like this hipster craft show on the East Coast. I liked it a lot. Bought a few for that Christmas. This was a couple of years ago. And took it home. Figured out how to make them. Started making them. People like them. People like their own movies. People like that one favorite movie they watched 100 times. And so I just kind of got some of the tools. Some friends helped me buy the tools, and you know, I've been selling them for about the last year and a half.
Yeah.
And,
So you got a VHS cover, you put that on the front, and then the back of the VHS covers on the back as well. Am I right?
You're right. What do I got here, friend? Reality Bites.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, Reality Bites. So yeah.
Talk about CDs being thrown out the window. I like
that. So that's like about 50 pages inside, and they're bound right here. But I don't know about this, Patrick, but apparently you can pick up some VHSs pretty cheap these days in the year 2021. So it's looking at which VHSs I find, which ones I think will sell, which ones I think people are into. So
you find you got to go find the actual VHS?
Yeah, I find the actual, I just buy them. I just buy a whole lot at one time. And thrift stores have them, Goodwills have them. And yeah, so I just kind of like buy the ones I think people will buy, or buy the ones people are into.
What's the very first one you did?
The first one I did was a Legally Blonde and a Singles. And
really?
Yeah. Cameron Crowe, Singles.
Oh, was that the that
best
was
soundtrack of the 90s?
Singles. I remember that title. I can't remember the movie though, but I remember that title.
It was a Gen X rom-com, and had with the backstage of the grunge music scene of Seattle.
Oh, I remember now. Yeah. So you did Singles and Legally Blonde?
Yeah.
This guy's got range.
Range, dude. You gotta think who your buyer is at this point.
Those were the first ones.
Those were the first ones, and that was before I had the machine. So I was taking them to Office Depot, and they were binding them for me, but they were charging me like $4 each, and I was like, no, guys. I was selling them for like 7 or 8, so I was just like, there was too much of a bite. So I had to, so I bought like a paper cutter, and there was a binder that my girlfriend at the time got me because I kept procrastinating about buying it because I'm kind of cheap. And so she bought it for me for my birthday. And that kind of really helped me start making a whole lot.
Yeah. You're like, take that, Home Depot. I'll be back here in a year. I'll be putting these on Trapper Keepers for all you know.
Yeah, got all wise. And I was looking to do some kind of business, but I wanted to do a really low overhead. This was a very low overhead. And I've done pretty good with it. Like I should have really been hustling it a lot more this year. I started hustling it. I took notice that people tend to buy things at Christmas time, and I had done the best at Christmas last year. So I just knew in November I was going to start making a whole lot, and I did. I was selling them a lot through Instagram, and I did. Yeah, I had a decent year this Christmas. And,
so someone, when they want one, somebody requests one, or you just have a bunch already made and they choose them?
I have a lot of VHS boxes or like movies, and
they choose one from that lot. What's the weirdest one you've ever done?
There's a lot of weird ones, but I just kind of have a lot already bought because I was picking them up for so cheap. And I usually ask people, give me 5 movies. Out of the 5 movies, I usually have one of them.
Gremlins, Gremlins 2, Gremlins 3.
People buy Star Wars like that. Like
Star Wars.
I would say Star Wars is consistent. And the weird thing is, like, they marketed everything for Star Wars. So I would kind of say, like, I started to think they were cool to make because these were like movies that would never have like a real strong licensing background,
I
where
see.
you're never going to buy a t-shirt or like, a notebook of the King of New York. That's a pretty dark movie, but
Yeah,
hey,
that's
I can
true.
make you that. I
That's
can make
right.
you
Come into my van. I'll make you
in
some
my van, dude.
dark
I'll hook you
notebooks.
up.
That's right. So there's got some odd requests. Is there any movie cover that you won't do? Does Chris Cordova have a line he won't cross?
I don't porn kind of seems I don't know, like
Okay,
I'm not
ignore
trying
that
to go
email
find
from me in
old
your inbox
porn boxes, all right? It's kind of sleazy, all right?
then. Okay.
I still
Well,
run a family show.
ignore the email I'm about to send you for my request then.
Yeah. But weird. Okay, so like I had people ask, they're like, "Oh man, you should make some horror movies. People love that stuff." And so I made some horror movies, but man, they really haven't sold like I would have thought they would have.
Yeah,
They
what's
just
the most
really,
popular one that
in
you've sold?
general,
Yeah, what's the most requested movie cover?
the most requested is Selena.
Oh, really?
I don't know if it's just a Central Texas thing, but Selena's pretty huge in San Antonio and Austin.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, if I have a Selena, that one gets sold quickly. If I have the movie Blood In, Blood Out, okay, so I got picked up. Some San Antonio artists, hipster, Instagram influencers started buying a couple of my
Stepson,
yeah, they started
assistant
buying a couple of these
manager.
notebooks. They put me on Instagram, and so a lot of San Antonio people had interest. But the one I had made was the movie Blood In, Blood Out, also known as Bound by Honor, and that one became real popular. And people were just like, "Hey, man, you got that one? You got that one?" I was just like, "Dude, that one's hard to find, and when I find them, it sells real quick." So like, I don't know if so. These are like recycled boxes, and I'm not
Oh,
like,
wait, I didn't understand. The actual VHS box is on there?
yeah, this is the actual like what
Oh, I thought you
when
were
you
kind of
got
printing
no. This
the
is pure
image.
the box,
So it's the actual box on the notebook.
the
So
actual
you
box. Yeah, you're buying a
so if you
box.
want, yeah, if you want one, you have to go find the box. It's not like you have 100 Selena's notebooks.
No, no, it's like I
Oh,
find a Selena, that's what you're going to get. I'm
oh, I
not,
see.
I'm
I didn't
not
know
in
that
my,
part.
no, I'm not reprinting it like 100 Selenas. I'm trying to make it, you know, just trying to keep
There's
it
some,
to
yeah, there's some authenticity to these.
authenticity to this. These were the actual boxes that were at video stores or whatever.
I see. I got an
People,
odd request. Can you do one of the actual Blockbuster video VHS cover?
if I find it, if I
If you
find
find
it,
it, you could do it.
if I find it, I could do it, but
Okay.
I would doubt I would find it unless it was like one of those VHS head cleaners
Yeah.
that Blockbuster would sell with their own logo. There you
Yeah,
go.
the head cleaner. Wait, head cleaner wasn't a movie? I've been lied to all these years.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you got head cleaner? This guy's got a complete collection of VHS.
Yeah.
Well,
It's, I would say the other movies that people always want are 16 Candles, Breakfast Club, the John Hughes movies.
that
People
makes
love
sense. That
that.
sounds about the age of someone who would be into
Yeah.
it, interested.
Yeah. And John Hughes movies are big. And Empire Records for some reason. I don't
Oh
know.
yeah, I remember that
That was,
movie.
yeah. People love that movie.
They do.
Um,
They do. I haven't seen it in a while, but that's an underrated movie.
People really love
Got
Empire
some good
Records.
performances in that movie.
Everyone loves Goonies, but Goonies came out in the clam box, or there weren't a lot of Goonies made that were just like regular boxes. They were like those clam boxes, like the ones the Disney ones would come in.
Yeah.
So when people ask for those, there's the paper DVD box that came out in, and those actually come out really cool. But technically I'm making it out of a DVD cover.
Well, if you ever make any porn ones, you got to put them in a section that has beads for a door, like in the old days where you go through the beaded covering. Yeah. You want the full effect. The full effect in there. Adults only.
That's Cochino's area, dude. I don't, I went to Catholic school, so
I get
out of my where I'm not welcome.
Business has to have standards. I get it. Well, I got
for enough money though, who cares?
Yeah. Oh, there you go. You want to expand, don't you?
Gotta think, baby. Think.
Everybody makes a deal with the devil at some point.
Yeah.
Yours is going to be porn movie covers.
Who knows what my collection's going to look like in a year from now? 2021, right?
Right. Don't limit yourself. That's what I learned.
Not anymore. Not under the Biden administration.
I got a game for us since we're talking a lot of movies here.
All right.
Premiere my first ever Rotten Tomatoes head-to-head movie trivia game.
Do it.
So you have some categories for you. I'm going to give you 3. Let's see how you do out of 3.
All right.
And you're going to pick which movie has the higher Rotten Tomatoes score. So here are your categories. You got school, Texas, football, douchey art house.
Oh, that's my specialty.
Action, and more action, and sequel city.
All right.
Pick one of those categories and you get your
douchey art house.
Douchey art house.
Yeah. So good.
Okay. And the movie you want to go up against? Or which category for the movie you want to go up against?
Let's go action.
It's action, and more action, but that's okay.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Here's your action movie from 1974, Death Wish.
Okay.
Versus from 2006, Little Miss Sunshine.
Oh, Little Miss Sunshine won that one. People love that movie.
The winner is Little Miss Sunshine, 91%. Death Wish, 68%.
People love that movie when that movie came out.
They do. And that movie sucks. I hate that movie. It makes no sense. But people
you have no heart,
love
dude.
That movie. Well, it's douchey art house. That's the category.
It's not douchey art house. That was like an Academy Award winner.
Yeah, that's true. I just hate that movie. It makes no logical sense. The grandpa is cussing up a storm. The kid who never talks wants to be in the Marines. He has long hair. It makes no sense. And the only logical guy is the dad, and everybody talks him down the whole movie.
It was Greg Kinnear.
Greg Kinnear, that was the dad, yeah.
Dude, Greg Kinnear had a great career for a while.
Oh, yeah. Nobody see this movie. It's dumb. I hate Little Miss Sunshine.
If you see Greg Kinnear over at Del Taco, tell him I say, I love Little Miss Sunshine, dude.
Oh.
Let him know, dude.
Right.
It's good stuff.
All right. Number 2. What category do you want? You got Sequel City, football, Texas.
Texas and Sequel City.
Okay. Sequel City, your movie is Grease 2.
Oh, I love Grease 2.
I'll kick you off this Zoom right now, Cordova.
Hey, I'm older than you, dude. Grease 2 meant a lot.
Versus the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Ooh.
This is
I'm going to go with Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Grease 2, 1982 versus Texas Chainsaw Massacre, 1974. The winner. You're right. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, 89% versus Grease 2, 36%.
I got to meet Toby Hooper one time. Great day. Director of Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh, I was going to say, I had a manager named Toby Hooper.
Different guy.
Sorry.
You owe Toby some money, though.
You are 2 for 2. All right, last one. You got school versus football.
School versus football. Like it.
Ooh, interesting. Stand and Deliver, 1988.
Great one.
Versus Black Sunday from 1977.
I'm going to go Stand and Deliver.
Go and Stand and Deliver?
Yeah.
You are correct. Stand and Deliver, 82%. Black Sunday, 69%. 3 for 3, Chris.
I just want to let you know, when I was doing my little VHS hunting and I found Stand and Deliver, I like called up my brother Gil right away, and I was just like, dude, I got an Almost movie and I got Lou Diamond Phillips right here in my hand. Stand and Deliver. You're going to get this notebook, Gil. No charge.
And he said, who is this?
Chris, are you drunk again? You drunk at the video store again? What's going on? That's what Gil said. Nah, it was a big moment. Gil appreciated it. It was a big deal. We even used a lot of Lou Diamond Phillips and Chuco Life memes. That's probably been our most popular Chuco Life meme ever, is where we were able to like say which part of El Paso Lou Diamond Phillips lived in based on his various movies.
Oh yeah, that's right. You do a few internet accounts. Give me your Instagram handles you do.
The _Chuco Life, then VHS Texas, and then I don't know, my personal one, Cordova, Texas.
Nice. So people can hit you up for the notebooks on
Hit me up. I'm here. Mail them out these days. I used to sell them at the shop or at the little hipster markets. Now I still did a couple this last year, but selling them mainly off Instagram. But then we have the El Paso comedy art Instagram called the _Chuco Life, which I do with a couple of my cathedral buddies. And we've been doing that since 2017. We sold some shirts on there, like this Tequila Derby one. Really, we were trying to sell shirts of like Juarez bars we go to. And we've taken down the website. We're not selling them right now, but right now we're just trying to do like feature friends' businesses, feature friends, like your podcast we've kind of promoted.
Yeah.
We promoted like our friend's bar, Hope and Anchor. Just like
you're doing like a tour of like our hometown in t-shirt version.
Yeah, you could. You totally could. There's like, I'm gonna say there are a lot of people in El Paso doing El Paso t-shirts. Wow. A lot.
Paso's up and coming.
Yeah,
go get a t-shirt. Go to Chris's Christmas party, Christmas Eve. Yeah, make it happen. It's going to be a big year, 2021.
Bring that Venmo card. I'll say, have the account already. I don't really want to wait for you at Christmas Eve downloading Venmo at my parents' house using the Wi-Fi.
Get your dad one of those swipers. And you know how your dad always takes the coats when you come in? He swipes your card at the front door. That's how the Christmas goes.
When you walk out, you'll get emailed a bill like, we saw you had 4 tamales this year. You had 8 Jack Daniel drinks. That's going to be $80. Thank you.
Swipe his card, take his coat, have a good night. But say hi to Uncle Ogie on your way out.
Hey, say hi. Uncle Ogie's the late show. All right. He performs blues. So be ready. Be ready to hear some funny stuff.
Well, thanks for talking to me, Chris. This is good. I feel
that was
like
fun, dude.
I feel
fun,
like we
Patrick.
bonded. You can be my true older brother now.
Hey, I'm always there for you, guy. And remember, come out to Texas sometime, dude. Book some shows out here. Once you start touring again,
let's do it.
Have some laughs out here. But right. I'm glad. Since we didn't get to hang out at Christmas, I'm glad we got to do this.
Yeah. Thanks, Chris. I'll see you soon.
Take it easy, man.
Okay, that is the show, everyone. Running it back with Chris Cordova. God, that guy has a lot to say. I forget how much time we spent growing up together. Wow, did I learn a lot from that guy. That was fun. It got into the weeds a couple times, but an enjoyable conversation. Go check out his Instagram pages and those wacky notebooks. Also, how about that, going 3 for 3 on the Rotten Tomatoes movie head-to-head game? That's going to be a tough one to beat for the next guest. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Thank you, everyone who listen to my other show, the Sunday Night Talk, which will go up this Sunday, as it always does. Check that out. We'll have fresh playoff talk for you then. Hot playoff talk. Thank you, everyone. Stay tuned next week. Another episode of Running It Back. And this Sunday, look out for my show. Thank you, Chris. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.